So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story of why we are all here today. So the incident took place on August 6th last year, 2022. It was at 11 a.m. that your Los Angeles Fire Department received a 911 call for the 12,500 block of Venice Boulevard in Mar Vista. And answering that phone call was firefighter dispatcher Armando Diaz, who really made sure that we got the appropriate resources to that patient quickly. And then we had, of course, the firefighters and paramedics here from Fire Station 62. So next to Diaz is Captain Kevin Willis. We have Zachary Snyder, firefighter Jesse Samid, firefighter paramedic Scott Kabanock, Jose Paz, and Jason Knoll, that all played a critical role into the success of this incident. So what happened is they encountered a 52-year-old man that was sitting in his car that was parked in a garage, and he was complaining of just tingling in his arm. But he was showing signs of being pale in color. He was diaphoretic or sweaty and very cool to the touch, but he was not experiencing any chest pain. So these firefighters, though, jumped into action. They performed a detailed 12-lead EKG where they could really take a close look at the heart rhythm. And they're trained to the extent that every bump or inflex in that heart rhythm means something specific to them. And they noticed that he had what was called a STEMI. And now that stands for ST elevation myocardial infarction. What that is a life-threatening heart attack with a complete blocked coronary artery, and these members recognized that and took the appropriate advanced life support measures to start to mitigate that emergency. Unfortunately, at that time, things got worse. They witnessed him go into a full cardiac arrest where his heart stopped beating properly. Again, they jumped into action, they began CPR, and they defibrillated or shocked the patient's heart twice. Now, fortunately, due to their quick intervention, they had a return of spontaneous circulation, meaning that that heart began to now beat again on its own, and they had to do that again twice. So the patient, who's Mr. Anthony Taranto, he regained consciousness because of their efforts, to the extent they were actually able to carry on a conversation while they're en route to an appropriate hospital. They took him to UCLA Emergency Room, but there things again took a turn for the worse. The patient's heart rhythm degraded, that ER staff delivered additional shocks to the heart to try to get him back into a stable rhythm. Of course, we're all here today because those efforts proved to be successful, and Mr. Taranto is with us today. So it's really due to these firefighters standing behind you here, their swift action, that they gave a cardiac arrest victim a second chance at life. And it's a good reminder for all of us and for our friends and family to learn CPR and to save a heart. So at this point, we would like to read one of the certificates, if we have them here. So it reads, "In recognition with sincere gratitude for your heroic courage, diligent efforts, personal initiative, and assistance which directly resulted in saving a 52-year-old man's life during a cardiac arrest emergency on August 6th of 2022 in Mar Vista, California. The Los Angeles City Fire Department commends you for your extraordinary life-saving efforts to a citizen of the city of Los Angeles. Presented this first day of March 23, Kristen M. Crowley, Fire Chief." Let's give him a round of applause and ask the Fire Chief to please come up.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a special day to take the opportunity to highlight the steps that our members took to save a life. Now, just to take a big step back organizationally, the LAFD will run 1,500 calls and transport up to 600 patients a day. Every single day, the members of the LAFD come to work. They do an incredible job They're committed, they're dedicated to know their jobs, and they do it very, very well. Every single day, our members, and especially the members behind me, do exceptional things every single day. I could not be prouder to be their fire chief, and it doesn't happen very often where we have the opportunity to reunite a survivor. So that's what today is all about, is showing and highlighting the true professionalism, the dedication of our members, from the time that the victim calls 911 to what our dispatchers do, to what our members do when they hop on the ambulance, the engine, the truck, to ensure that we provide those life-saving skills. So what an incredible opportunity to bring everybody together on this day. We thank all the families of our LAFD members who share their loved ones with us, and there's a tremendous amount of sacrifice. We have family who are here today, so thank you for sharing the members with the LAFD and the communities that we serve. So I want to make sure we take time to thank the families. Now with that, when we get to tell the story where we save a life, again, this happens every single day, probably many, many, many times. But today is about what Rescue 62 did, what Engine 62 did, and then also to understand the impacts of what these members did to save their lives of this individual, Mr. Taranto. So he's going to come out here and tell his story. I'm really excited to make sure that we introduce our members to him. Oftentimes we'll go on the call and we come right back and we run another call. So again, thank you to the members of Fire Station 62 and our dispatchers at our Metro Fire Communications for what they do each and every day. And I'd love to bring up the next person. Again, thank you to everybody for being here and to allow us to tell our stories. I'm very, very proud of the LAFD, and we're going to continue to push hard to ensure that we provide exceptional public safety. So thank you, everybody. Next up, we're going to bring up firefighter paramedic Paz, and he's going to go ahead and tell us his story. Thank you.
I think the most important thing to know is that everyone on the fire department, every medic trained with the LAFD would have done the same thing that we did that day. The outcome that Mr. Taranto had was just due to timing. The fact that we were available and in quarters that day when the call came out, the fact that the public who was there, his neighbors who were there to point us in the right direction to find him, who had the gate open for us to be able to respond, because from the moment we arrived to the moment that we got him in the back of the ambulance and he went into cardiac arrest and we had to defibrillate was maybe 3 minutes. So any delay in our response or any delay in getting to the patient, the outcome probably wouldn't have been as good. So, you know, we obviously thank the public for being proactive and guiding us to Mr. Taranto and just to have the turnout and the result that we did. Thank you.
Well, now's the part where you get to actually hear from the patient himself. So we're going to ask our dear friend, Anthony Taranto, to please come up. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm very blessed to be standing before you because I am living proof that CPR saves lives. If it weren't for the quick response and the actions of all the individuals that are here today, I would not be standing to tell my story. So for the past 16 plus years, I've lived in this neighborhood. I hear sirens that go up and down the street almost every day or night. I never thought that I'd have to call 911 and they'd be responding to me. But on August 6th, they did, and I thank God every day that they were there. They acted so quickly. They got me out of my car, they put the pads on me, they got me into the ambulance, and they got me to UCLA. But along the way, I know they did a lot of work, and a lot of that work involved CPR. It involved the defibrillator, and it goes back to the training that all of them have participated in over the years. And so my family and I are extremely thankful and grateful for the work that they do on a daily basis, but especially the work they performed on August 6th, because again, I'm here today as a result of all of them. And so I'm thankful we're able to be here today to recognize all of them. I appreciate the opportunity, but today really is about them. I can't say that enough. So my last word I would say would be CPR saves lives. It only takes a few minutes to go online and learn the hands only. You can go to the American Heart Association and check it out. In fact, my son and I just did it last month. And so thank you again for the opportunity to be here today. And I commend everybody here for saving my life.